Welcome to this tutorial on how to upload your research findings to the IPCC data portal. After having read all the information on this landing page, you can submit your research data via two Excel templates that can be found here. This tutorial will explain to you how to fill in your data in the template for shipping and how to upload it subsequently via creating an account up here. By clicking on the link here, you can download the Excel sheet, which looks like this. The spreadsheet is organized in two sheets. Please read this README sheet carefully before inserting any data. It contains also an overview of greenhouse gas reduction measures and some examples. After you studied this sheet thoroughly, you can move on to the data collection sheet. This has two main sections, one with essential data fields and another one with desirable data fields. Note that the essential data fields are mandatory for anybody submitting research findings. The different subsections are currently grouped, but you can expand them easily by clicking on the plus sign here. To expand and collapse all groupings simultaneously, you can also click the 1 and 2 on the left-hand side. Let me briefly explain to you how you can enter your research findings by using an exemplary paper. For this tutorial, we chose this paper from Corbett et al. On the impact of slow steaming from the year 2009. However, be aware that this data call of the IPCC is primarily requesting data of papers that have been published after the fifth assessment report of the IPCC. Let's start with the first subsection, which asks for bibliometric data of the paper. I already prepared these contents, but this is only copy-pasting directly from the paper. Next, we enter information about the scope of the paper. In this case, the paper studies container ships, which we select here from the drop-down menu. In this paper, more than 2,000 container ships have been analyzed. Since no information is given about the gross tonnage of these ships, we leave this blank. Next, we go on to the implemented measures. Here you can select basic information about which CO2 emission reduction measures you have analyzed. Here's an important aspect of how this spreadsheet is organized. Every measure shall be inserted in an individual row. So if you analyze two different measures, please insert two separate rows with the corresponding information. The paper that we have here analyzes the impact of slow steaming. This falls under the category of operational measures and the subcategory of speed optimization. In the comments section, we can add additional information. For example, that there are two scenarios that the paper analyzes, which we can see from this figure, scenario 1 and scenario 2. So we enter, for example, analysis of speed reduction ranging from 0 to 50% and two different scenarios. The final subsection of the essential data fields is requesting the information about the emission reduction of your measure. The first column here asks for the statistical basis of your data. That is, whether you want to provide one number, a range, or a range and a most likely value. From figure 1, we see that the results are given for a range, which we select in the drop-down menu here. The next column asks for the system boundary. Since the paper is analyzing operational CO2 emissions, we select tank to wake from the drop-down menu. Since we do not have absolute emissions, but relative reductions in percent, we indicate this in the next column by entering a percentage sign. Now let's see what impact slow steaming has according to this paper. As mentioned before, there are two scenarios. Contrary to technological measures like a change of energy carrier or powertrain, the impact of operational measures usually starts at 0% and can be ramped up continuously. Since we are interested in the maximum potential, the maximum values from the two scenarios are chosen here. Let's insert the range of these scenarios: 40 up to 70% CO2 reduction for a speed reduction of 50%. Next, we further describe the scenarios in the comment section on the right. For example, that the CO2 reduction range is based on the assumption that current services are maintained by increased capacity utilization for scenario 1 or by adding extra ships to the fleet, scenario 2. Note that if a paper reports also a most likely value out of this range of 0 to 50% speed reduction, you would choose on the left-hand side most likely plus range and insert the corresponding values. At the beginning of this tutorial, I already mentioned one key feature of this data collection sheet, that is, one measure, one row. Now, if you have, for example, analyzed multiple slow steaming potentials, let's say for different ship types, this rule applies here as well. Each ship type would go into a separate row. In this paper, no non-CO2 emissions have been reported, so we leave the rest of this section blank. All further information about other emissions like SOx, about the vessels, etc. can be inserted in the desirable data fields. For example, this statistical information about the vessel fleet would go into this section. After you entered all information, save the document, go back to the data portal and upload the Excel sheet there. To be able to do so, you need to register here to get an account for the data portal. I did that already, so we can directly log in. To upload your Excel file, click here, select your file, open it, and click Upload. Mission accomplished. You can update your sheet by uploading a new document. However, be aware that your original document will be overwritten. If you face any technical issues, we are happy to assist you via the following email address. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial and for supporting the work of the IPCC.